Hello, my name is Kirioth and it's time for a Tuesday ramble. I realise it's Tuesday, not Monday. I'm not even going to try and pretend that it's Monday this time. We've maybe done that in the past. This time, just flat out, I had no voice yesterday, pretty much. So I spent the weekend at the Facehammer GT playing Age of Sigmar for the first time. There's going to be a video about that tomorrow because it was pretty damn awesome, to be honest. It was great from start to finish. But it is like 2 solid days of 70-something people in a room, everyone having a game at the same time, and trying to make sure that that your opponent can hear everything you're saying. It kind of requires a raising of the voice to some extent. And yesterday, every time I talked, it kind of came out a bit like, eh. So I was like, I'll wait until I can actually, say stuff. Also, really tiring. Really tiring. I've no idea how you do, like multiple events in quick succession, because I was knackered by the time we were done at like 5 o'clock on the Sunday, so who knows. But we're going to have a look at the previews for next weekend. Plans this week for videos: we'll talk about Facehammer tomorrow, there's a range review that is going to be coming out hopefully on Thursday, and we will also start covering all of the stuff that I took to the tournament. I intended to do those videos as I made the army, but the way I did that army was a little bit in like fits and starts, so I'd like start doing something, it wouldn't work the way I wanted, so I'd leave it a little bit and then I'd suddenly get a whole chunk done, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the week. So let's have a look at the previews, see what we've got going on for stuff to take a look at for next weekend. So by the look of it, we've got some more Kruleboyz stuff, including Gobsprakk, the Mouth of Mork, and I loved this model when we first saw it. I still do. I really, really like the wings, and I want to paint it. I want to paint it quite badly. And the thing is, I kind of do have a few bits of Kruleboyz stuff that was very, very generously sent to me, and I'm kind of leaning towards maybe doing another monstery type army for AOS, because I really enjoyed doing that with the Soulblight Gravelords, getting a few Terrorgeist zombie dragon style things on the go. I kind of like the idea of a Kruleboyz version of that, which is all like, for some reason my immediate go-to is to have a bunch of corpses and skeletons hanging off everything, like trophies that are still carried around, like nailed to the monsters that they ride. That could be a lot of fun. And this, I think, really in the back of my head, I knew I was going to always end up with this at some point, just because I really, really like this. I think it's super well done. I will say, overall, with the Kruleboyz, there are so many like little details when it comes to trophies and bits of wood and what their kind of thrones and platforms and saddles and weapons are made of. There's just a massive amount of attention to detail that I really like. Of course, that's not to say that stuff like attention to detail is missing from like Stormcast stuff. Obviously it's not, but it feels like there's just the nature of the designs means there's that little bit extra to look out for with these, and I just really like the way they've done them. They look pretty damn good, and this in particular, Killer Beak, I believe his name is. Yeah, I do like that model a lot, so it's horribly tempting. Oh no. We also have Swampboss Scumdreck, and this is the thing when I'm talking about like monster style stuff. All of these are super solid. They're really grim as well. They're like, there's the cages hanging off the side of the big platform on the top of this thing. It's a super ugly creature. It's really, really hideous, but in a good way. Like the manacles hanging off, it's pretty dark overall. And I do like the kind of classic orc, kind of Games Workshop orc stuff, like your Iron Jaws and the like. But at the same time, this kind of feels a bit fresh, a bit new, It's hard not to be drawn to the new stuff, especially when it's kind of scratching an itch that I didn't know I had. That sounds a little bit. Let's not dwell on. Anyway, yeah, I like this as well, and both of these I believe have a generic version. So there's also the Killer Boss on Corpse Ripper Vulture for this one, and Snatchaboss on Sludge Raker Beast. I'm assuming that when it comes to rules, there'll be like a difference between a killer and a snatcher. One presumably just way better at killing stuff, the other one, I don't actually know, maybe providing debuffs and things? Who knows? I think a few places have had the Auric War Clowns Battle Tome now, so it'd be worth having a look around. On this thing, the Marshcrawla Sloggoth as well. Sloggoth is such a horrible name, it sounds like an insult. It really does. It just sounds like an insult for someone. You, mate, you're just a absolute Sloggoth, aren't you? Or maybe that's just... I mean, maybe it could become one now. This one feels extra cruel because of how the... So when you look at this guy... Okay, look at this guy. So that thing looks like it should walk on like all four limbs, right? The legs are quite stumpy at the back, and the way that the kind of like the ankle works, it's like it's a little bit different. It kind of looks like it's supposed to walk around on its knuckles and not really stand up unless it absolutely has to. Whereas this thing, it's just fully got legs and arms. Like, it looks like it should be walking upright, and it's not allowed to. It's got to stay down on all fours. There's like weird, cruel little spikes and stuff poking down. It looks like that platform is almost like sewn into its back somehow, like stapled in. It's just super grim. It's like really harsh. I just feel bad for the thing. It's also, again, hideous. Absolutely hideous looking creature, as you might expect. But yeah, it just seems even more harsh than the other one. And I think also, anytime you see like grots, anything like grot-like, there's just like a malevolent evil that you kind of get from a grot. They just seem spiteful, you know, like little green bundles of spite is kind of the impression that I get, especially from these guys anyway. And again, you got like the manacles and the chains hanging down from the back. It's just, yeah, I just really like the look of these. I know they're a bit controversial in a way. I know not everyone is a big fan of the kind of overall look and feel of the Kruleboyz, but I don't know. They look decent to me, and it's not like the other stuff's going away. It's not like all the orcs look like the Kruleboyz now. You've still got your more classic looking orc stuff around. And I will say the is it the mega boss for the Ironjaw stuff? That is still a solid model, and I think one of the best models that Games Workshop's done. This guy right here. I mean, look at that. That is quality. That is solid. I mean, it's so good that I've seen that in 40k as often as I've seen it in Age of Sigmar, because it's just that good a model. It's not going anywhere, and it is a significant difference between the two. Oh, it's so good. I love it. You know, I kind of thought that if I waited a day and didn't talk much yesterday, it would mean that I'd be able to talk properly and not get, like, weird throat pains, and it's absolutely not worked. This video is going to be cut to ribbons. If there's, like, weird, just weird cuts throughout, not that you'd be able to see it, but, like, interrupting the flow really badly, as if there's any sort of flow on my videos at all anyway, then I apologise, but I keep like, stopping because words are getting caught in my mouth, which is a weird feeling. Anyway, so there's also the Gutrippaz as well. Once again, I do like the look of them. The shields are a lot of fun. Although, to be honest, I don't know that I'd want every single shield to have like the kind of the Kragnos face on it. I think I'd want a few kind of salvage shields that have been stolen from other people. I'd love to see if you like battered Stormcast shield in there. That'd be fun. Some real kind of we stole this person and nicked their gear kind of look to a few of these. That'd be a fun project to do, actually. There's also the scenery kits. Now, I have to admit, I'm interested in these because I've got a massive, ridiculous, like, it's like a cosmic horror mega gargant / chaos knight thing that I'm working on, that I have been working on for a while, where it's another knight army, but it could be used as both. So I'm planning to magnetize the bases so that I can have, well, magnetize the models so that I can take, like, big chunks of scenery off the bases and put them onto other ones, so I can switch out between the bases for the Chaos Knights and the bases for the Mega Gargants. Because if you have either of those forces, you will know that what Games Workshop have done, in that way that they like to do, is the War Dogs are on a circular base, but the Imperial Knights / Chaos Knights, they are on an oval base. Whereas for Age of Sigmar, the Gargants are on an oval base, whereas the Mega Gargants are on a circular base. Which is, I swear, why just done intentionally to get on your nerves. I'm sure that's the only reason that that's been done in that way. But I have like two models, and I'm working on a third that could be used as both. That could easily be used as both, provided people were happy for, you know, a kind of proxy situation going on. But they're so weird and not like anything else that you couldn't really. Yeah, it'll make sense when you see them eventually. That having stuff like this scenery that I can take off. Like, build this up into a, like, 2-story thing, so that a mutalith vortex beast with wings can sit on top of it, but also then be taken off to sit on top of some 40k scenery. I like the idea of building this up so it's like specific to the game that I'm playing at the time. And this like big dome thing, I forget what it's called. It doesn't really matter. It looks cool. That is going to feature in there somewhere because I want a ruined version of that it's perching on. But I do like this stuff. I like it. It's good. Looks good. Now, something I'm not sure about is this, the Warhammer Age of Sigmar app. So, I think this is just going to end up being the 40k app again. I suspect this is going to go the same direction where you will only have access to stuff that you pay for by buying the Battle Tome, and then you put the code from the Battle Tome into the app. I think that's how this is going to go. They do say that for the beta, it's like you can try it out for free, and you can have the War Scrolls for every unit in the game and build army rosters using Stormforge. The thing is, you could already do that on the existing app for Age of Sigmar. It's just that's not being supported, I don't think, anymore. Now, if they decided to just keep all of the War Scrolls open so that you can view all the War Scrolls so they're just available to you and you don't have to, pay anything extra, and if you can build army lists out of it, then that's, that would be good. It'd be good to keep that functionality. I have to admit, I haven't looked at the 40k app since me and Mikey did our battle report, which, by the way, I will link in the description. It was a lot of fun. And it was not great for that, to be honest. It just wasn't all that great. But I remember not being able to get to the data sheet for the Typhon Heavy Siege tank, for instance, unless you clicked a certain button and then you could just see it anyway. So you couldn't see its stat line until you clicked it, but then you could find a way of getting into the actual data sheet itself, which kind of made locking that bit away mostly pointless, and I don't know why they bothered doing it. But it'll be interesting to see how this one works, and I just don't want them to take away the free War Scroll aspect because it's a really useful part of the game. But we will see. We'll see. There's also the House Greim. Did we ever discuss or decide on a way to pronounce this? We probably didn't, did we? These two, we've talked about these before. They still look grand. I still love them. I still love that guy's bionic leg. It being like that kind of the eagle, like the griffin's claw. It's such a cool touch. I like both of them. And I'm actually going to start playing Necromunda now. This is exciting. I'm looking forward to this. So, yeah, I'm going to start doing, hopefully, every couple of weeks a game of Necromunda. That should be fun. I've got some Palanite enforcers that I've done. Palanite? There's two. Is it the Sisters of Battle that's got the Palanite, and then the Palatine enforcers are the ones that are those, or is it the Sisters of Battle got the Palatine and it's the Palanite enforcers? Either way, stop naming stuff super similar. That'd be helpful. I can finally use those models that I've had for ages and never got around to doing anything with. I was going to use them for a totally different project, but you know what? They can be used for the game they were made for. Makes a change for me, doesn't it? So these two are on the way, and there's also Gutrippaz, a new Warhammer Crime, and there's more stuff added to Warhammer Plus, which, yeah, it's still, there is stuff slowly being added. It's kind of the amount of content on there is obviously increasing by the week. It's still not exactly a veritable flood. Although I've seen people go, the amount of stuff on here is laughable compared to something like Netflix, for instance, which is totally true. But I think in a way, things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff, I think at the start it was I think it felt acceptable to do a direct comparison because one of the big leading things that Games Workshop went with was the animations. But I think in a very real way, that was maybe not the way to go for marketing this, because if you say, oh, Warhammer Plus is coming, and you know what, you get all these great animations, people are going to think that you are going to absolutely flood them with video content and with, well, stuff that is similar to Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon Prime or HBO Max or any one of the other 18 bajillion one of these things, whereas it's not really that. It's like, you get both the apps for free, there's the model thrown in, there's battle reports and lore masters and painting guides, there's old white dwarf issues, with the rules cut out by the look of things, which is something we're going to have a chat about, because not a fan of that. And yeah, that kind of direct comparison, I don't think it necessarily applies, but it doesn't help that that's kind of how they set themselves up when they were first advertising Warhammer Plus. But I mean, to be honest, yeah, I don't know. My experience with Warhammer Plus so far, because I was intending to do some sort of review for it, and then Guy from Midwinter Minis did a very good review for it, which I thought actually was very well done, and kind of highlighted everything that needed to be highlighted, and I'll put a link in the description to that as well, so you can take a look. That was copyright claimed by Games Workshop, which they then said was an error and walked it back. But that kind of, I'm not going to lie, I just shelved my idea for it. They have walked it back and it's no longer claimed, so, you know, they've admitted they made a mistake with that, but I'm still a little bit reticent to really... I'm not sure what to do with what I've already got. We'll work something out. We'll work something out at some point. Anyway, is there anything in there that you particularly like the look of? Anything that is that's caught your eye that you think you might grab next weekend? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And I'm going to go away and not talk for a little bit again, because I just sound really rough. I didn't think I was that bad. Not compared to yesterday, anyway, but... I sound ill. I'm not. It's fine. Just got a weirdly, like, I was going to say overused throat, but that just sounds terrible. I'll see you for the next one.